Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Vicky and I'm an intuitive coach and mentor, and this is going to be a reading for the week of the 18th of January, looking at your purpose and how you can more fully connect to your purpose. And we're going to draw some cards and create a Celtic cross and see what you most need to know at the moment, living your purpose. We just had the full moon in Cancer, which if you have been feeling particularly emotional for the past few days, there was a lot of energy to release around home and what home means to us, what feels like home, our sense of home. Also kind of an opportunity for healing around any energy towards any mother figures in your life, as well as kind of gaining new perspectives. And it's kind of relevant to purpose, because part of being in your purpose is kind of finding that sense of home within yourself. So if stuff has come up for you, it's an opportunity to release what is not home for you and kind of moving into more of what is, if that makes sense. This is a general reading looking at the current energies and the messages that you most need to know at this time. I do offer personal readings and one-to-one coaching, and the details of that are in the comments below. So let's see what we get for today, what we most need to know about stepping into your purpose. And that's if your purpose is creating a business, if it's kind of developing a skill, if it's taking a new direction, perhaps you're looking to move or move towards somebody and create something, whatever your purpose means to you. For many of the people that I speak to, it's about having a business or becoming an entrepreneur or developing an idea. So let's have a look at what we get. Okay. And then we'll kind of look at what the messages are. Okay, so interesting. So in terms of where you are at the moment, the card that came out where you are in this present time is the Lemuria card. It's a beautiful card, and the message of this is creating heaven on earth. It's happening, and I feel that this is your intention for this year, and whether that is a reaction to events that have taken place in the last year or so, and what that energy, you have to remember that we have, obviously we're aware of what the world events are, but there's also been a very big shift in energy, and there's been a lot of negative energy coming up and being portrayed, and you may have really felt that, and it's affected our place in the world. So when we're kind of thinking of our sense of home, that's, you know, where we feel we have a place, where do we belong? And as a antidote to that energy that you've been experiencing, you now have this feeling of, I want to create my version of heaven on earth, because I've seen all this other stuff and I'm not here just to experience that. We're not diminishing or denying what has been happening, but also looking forward, we're getting this new perspective of what life means, how precious life is, how life needs to be protected, and you are here to have an experience. And this is you stepping into that place of saying, I now choose to create my own experience, because if I don't, other people will for me, and that will govern, other people will then govern the experience I have on earth. And I choose, and this is a really powerful decision to make for yourself, I choose to create my own experience. and I choose to create one that is my version of heaven on earth. And as the card says, it's happening. So this is now what you are moving into this year. And that feels a really strong message. That's a really kind of no nonsense. Like I've been through the stuff. I've learned, a whole host of lessons. I've seen some things, and I now choose to be an active creator of my life rather than having life created for me. That is probably one of the biggest decisions you can make for yourself. What your soul is calling you to do is the Great Gathering. And this is kind of the message of this card is it's all coming together, intuitive hits, soul tribe. This is this sense that you are not doing this just as a kind of one person decision. This is a decision that is being made on a collective level. Other people are making this decision, and you are being, although there's a lot of negativity being portrayed, you're also coming into contact with other messages. You're sensing that you are not alone in this feeling of, I'm here to create something different. I'm here for something different than what's been automatically offered for me. And I'm now stepping into that. And through doing that, you deciding to make this decision for yourself, you're starting to call in your soul tribe. And you may be seeing that already in having conversations with people, things that you're coming across. You're not coming across messages by accident. If you see this message, it's not by accident. This is an activation, and your own personal activation is activating other people, and you are feeling that sense of, again, it's this gathering, this sense of like minds, like souls, and it's this sense of home, this sense of feeling that you have, you're connected. In terms of what's coming up for you, the Take a Break card came up. So you may, and you may think that, by creating this heaven on earth for yourself, that you now have to take action, and you will have to take massive action, but you also need to rest and reflect and recharge. And this is one of the biggest messages that I always kind of give people when I start working with them. We always want to kind of like dive straight into things. We kind of hear that analogy of hit the ground running, and it seems kind of counterintuitive that we might actually take a step back to go forwards. But when we kind of take that step back, what happens, when we just go rushing into something, we get so close to it, we can't see it. And when we take that step back, we actually kind of get a wider perspective, and then we choose how to move forward in this much more focused way. It says, this is a life's work, not a season. If you're stepping into your purpose work, this is not just a kind of something you're going to do for a couple of years. This is starting to create a legacy, something that you stand for, this, which is going to be something you're engaging with on some level through the rest of your life. So you don't have to do everything in a day. And again, when we kind of take that step back, as you can see here, we kind of get to look and kind of really kind of see what's in front of us before moving forward. What is falling away, interestingly, is the yes card. So to me, and the thing about this card is it's the yes from all angles. It's kind of like the hell yes. To me, this says that what's falling away is anything which is not the hell yes for you. So when you're having this kind of reflective time, this is about getting kind of really real and honest with yourself about the things that don't work for you, the things that don't serve you, the things that don't light you up, the things that are not part of your purpose. And kind of, this is why it's important to kind of take the time back, because you're kind of going on a journey. And if you take everything with you, like all your possessions, all your experiences, all your thoughts, all your habits, it's probably you're going to spend so long in that phase. And actually, this is looking at what do I actually need for this? What is not coming with me, type of thing. So in terms of what's falling away, it seems to me that it's really a kind of, if it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no, and kind of being that brave and courageous about making those decisions, because the right people are coming to you. The people who get you are on their way. And the more you put out that message, you're going to find that they're going to come in ways that you couldn't have imagined. They're going to, maybe live around the world. They're going to be different to you, but those people that are your true soul tribe are coming. In terms of tapping into your gifts, Star Mother card came out. This is, again, kind of relating again to this card, is this kind of nurturing energy. And as I said at the beginning, we've gone through this full moon in Cancer, looking at our sense of home. And our first kind of place of home really is our mum, our relationship with our mum, the way that the mother energy in our life nurtured and protected us. And you're now, not that kind of small child or small baby. And it's actually, I've had this message come through before, is I think it was last week, that the ability to provide this kind of mother energy for yourself is so, so powerful in terms of stepping into your purpose, because you are birthing something new in the world, and that kind of requires that kind of mother energy behind it, that kind of full unconditional love pouring into you so you can create what you're here to create. And that is when you're in that place of feeling fully seen and heard and loved and supported, that is how you're going to access your gifts, the divine gifts you particularly are here to share in the world. And they're just going to come out so much quicker the more that you support yourself. In terms of what is being manifested, the no card came out. Now, I've never had the yes and a no card come out in the same reading. So this is, wait, postpone, pause, say no. And I think this is here because this is, again, this kind of looking before you leap kind of message is what's coming through. So kind of making sure you're moving forward for the right reasons, making sure that you are supporting yourself. So often we hear that message of, jump and the net will appear, move forward and the universe will support you. And it will do when you are in alignment with what you're doing. So this is kind of you've had this kind of epiphany, this epiphanous kind of moment where you're like, okay, I've kind of seen what's on offer from the world, and I now want to move forward. And there is a part of me that is kind of operating from my ego, where I want it to look a certain way. I want it to look like heaven for other people. So I'm kind of keeping up kind of an appearance of something. And I may not be making all of my decisions from the right place, because if I'm doing it from my ego, it's more about how it appears to other people than actually truly tapping into my soul and seeing what's right for me. So I think we've kind of got this, it's a really dramatic card, but it's kind of the no part comes from a kind of, again, this kind of pausing and just kind of making sure it's taking that step back and making sure that you're channeling your energy in the right place and you're making decisions from the right, for the right reasons. So it's not don't take action, it's kind of assess the situation first. Look where you're going type thing, not just kind of following trends and just kind of spending money for the sake of it and just kind of going head on first, kind of charging ahead without really knowing where you're going, which is not the same thing as kind of taking aligned action when you're really tapped into soul and you're kind of making those jumps where it's kind of like it's that kind of, it's checking what's a full body yes. If you're just making decisions from your head, sometimes they may not be the right, and this is kind of learning of how do I actually kind of get my whole body and being behind what I'm doing and taking action from that place. In terms of your next step, funnily enough, is starseed, what lights you up. So this is making sure, again, this is a confirmation of what you just said, that you're making decisions from this right place, from what lights you up, not how you think it's supposed to look like for other people, not so it fits some kind of image, some kind of sense of a brand or lifestyle imagery thing, what we see on social media, like portraying an image, kind of creating a false sense of achievement. This is actually what is your soul asking for. What does it want to experience? What is your version of heaven on earth? Because it may not look anything like what we kind of see on social media, and that's okay. You're not creating this to kind of win a contest. It's actually what your soul came here to experience, and very likely it doesn't look like anyone else's version because it is yours. And so it's kind of really tapping into what that means for you. In terms of past life influence, so what's the energy coming from the past behind you, is Sisterhood of the Rose. And this is beauty and devotion. And there's a quote that I can't quite remember how it goes, but it's something about, in terms of that the truest form of beauty, like we have an image of how we see beauty. Like we know if we see a beautiful person, or we have, our standards of what beauty is, of what's aesthetically pleasing or what feels beautiful. But there is a quote, which is something along the lines of that when something is in its purest form of beauty, it cannot be described. And that's the message I'm getting through for this. It's beauty and devotion, priestess, mystic, teacher. And this is kind of, when I'm talking about your version of heaven on earth, this is your sense of this. You have this energy behind you. This is the kind of, not just souls from this lifetime, but energy behind you that want you to create this, because it is your experience of heaven on earth, is this kind of sense of beauty that it's those moments and experiences that you can't quite describe. It's kind of those things where words don't quite fit the bill, and we can kind of think of things that get close. We can think of how maybe with our children, we can think of moments where we've just felt that surge of love, or we've just met someone and we have those kind of butterflies, or we've just had some money come from something and it means we're going to be able to do something, and we can kind of, it's just it's created an expansion for us, but it doesn't quite the words don't quite capture that pure moment within us where we just had that experience. We just saw our child do something, and we can think of all the logical things of, oh, they're so cute because they're this age and they're learning something, and just feel this kind of pride, prideful feeling, or this moment where our heart kind of just feels warmed or what have you. But it doesn't quite capture that moment where you see something and you just see it in its purest form of being something beautiful. It's kind of the undescribable moment. And that is the energy that's coming through for you. That is what you're kind of looking to create for yourself. That's what's available to you. And that's why it's important to kind of look before you leap, because that is not something that comes from gaining however many followers on a social media channel or getting an X number of clients. That is part of the process. And that is part of the journey that you're here to experience. That's what's available to you. In terms of what you need to know, another dramatic card, the crumbling. What are you clinging on to? So again, this was kind of that moment where it's kind of, what are the things that are not the hell yes for you that are kind of sticking around? They're kind of either you're clinging on to them, thinking that you can't manage without them, or they're kind of hooked into your energy. And kind of, are you willing to release them so you can kind of have these experiences? You can have your own particular heaven on earth. They're the things that that don't light you up, the things that bring you stress and drama and anxiety and uncertainty. And looking at how you're kind of attached to that on a level. And that's said with love and, no judgment, zero judgment, but looking at, what you're kind of attached to and how much longer you want to keep those attachments, I feel. In terms of your hopes and fears, the Pleiades card came out, double mission. And this is kind of hopes and fears because there is something, this concept of your heaven on earth is your wish, your dreams come true. It's everything you could ever wish for and more. And that also brings with it fear and uncertainty, because there is the need to step into the belief of, is this really possible for me? And what might go wrong? And I could achieve this, I could have this for myself. And what if I lose it? What if it's too much responsibility? What are going to be the downsides of it? What else am I going to have to experience to get this? So there's a kind of, it kind of feels like there's a sort of double-edged thing. And it's kind of, that could be what's causing this kind of sense of clinging to what you do know, because the idea of moving towards what you don't know brings so much uncertainty for you. But as we know, we're living in really, we've seen how uncertain life can be. That's, the uncertainty is part of life. So we might as well kind of choose how we're going to work with that, because that's not going to go away. In terms of where this is all leading, it led to Rama. Where are you being called to journey to? Where is this actually going to take you? This sense of heaven on earth, this kind of divine place. And this is not just there's a lot of water in both of these cards, and we've just had the full moon in Cancer, which is water, and you can see the moonlight kind of shining light on this water here. Water also stands for your emotions. When we're kind of being asked to go somewhere, it's not just a physical place, it's also where we're going to go within ourselves. Where are you kind of prepared to go to? Are you prepared to let go of things that bring you anxiety? Because whatever situations are playing out in your life, they are starting within you. The experiences that you're having, there's if you have situations in life that cause you anxiety, where are you creating that anxiety from within first? So part of this, where you're going kind of message is, are you prepared to live without those feelings? Are you prepared to actually experience happiness and joy and have a different experience of life and be the creator of your life? Are you prepared to do it? So you've kind of made this decision that you're going to be the creator, because if you don't, someone else will. But are you going to follow through on that? Are you going to do what's required to bring that about? In terms of what we didn't see coming, was the awakening card. So that kind of a new way of being, how that kind of operates in your day-to-day, that is, looking at how you respond to life, making the distinction to respond rather than react, creating that kind of pause before you do something. Take a break might not be necessarily going on a holiday. It might be just kind of someone says something, and whereas you would normally kind of just bounce back with what you've got to say, taking that extra pause to be like, is this actually what I want to say? Is this the kind of is this the way I want this conversation to go? Is this the way that I want to engage with people? Is this the way that I want to engage with experiences around myself? And kind of becoming much more considered about where you're putting your energy, because your energy, as I'll say, and I'll say it again, is what's creating it, and how you're using your energy and how you're channeling it is what's creating your experience. So kind of working on your energy, being available for the kind of upgrades, the collective changes that are going on, and then becoming intentional about how you use yours. I'll just see if there is and obviously this is a general message, but this is kind of what's going on at the moment. This sense of heaven on earth is your own kind of where you spend, this is like your home, making your home this beautiful kind of place. And from that place, when you feel that kind of full on like love and support, you're going to be able to kind of access so much more of yourself in that space. And in terms of your purpose, this is what you can put out into the world is going to be expanded in that process. And obviously, if you'd like a more kind of personal message, then book a private reading with me, and we'll kind of delve into what else is happening for you personally. So let's just see what we something that supports this. And we have the leg up card came again, which was the card that came out for a recent reading. And again, it was so connected to this kind of mother energy, this feeling of being so held and supported and watched over. And, you know, when we had Sisterhood of the Rose, that's kind of what this energy is as well. The love you have as, you know, the mother energy, it's a love that, again, it cannot be quite described. You can use words, you can hear the sayings of, and this is not to diminish the energy of a father. It's not meant in that respect. This is kind of looking at the mother energy as the creative energy. It's not about a comment about mums and dads and who does what. This is kind of the mother energy of something. And maybe looking at where we've kind of got really disconnected from that, where we've lost sight of just how beautiful an energy that is, and just how important it is, and how needed it is, and how so many people are kind of missing that feeling. They're kind of longing to be mothered, longing to feel that safety and security of just the pure unconditional love. And that is actually something that cannot be fully put into words. You can say that it's you can say, you know, it's my heart. You can say the things that you would do as a parent, but the actual kind of mother, that purest unconditional love, I don't think you can put into words. Again, that's part of what you're here to have this experience of, these kind of unexplainable moments. That's what your soul came here to do. And again, it's that kind of having that around you, feeling so safe and supported. You don't have to fight to be loved. It is kind of if you haven't got it, it's learning how to create it for yourself, because that is kind of the route to your gifts, for what you can create and how you can work with others. What you're here to do, you know, creating on heaven on earth, that is completely possible. Uplifting humanity, looking at what lights you up, looking at what your soul wants to experience, releasing the things that don't support you, saying yes, taking the time to look at what is a no for you, making sure you're doing things for the right reason, calling in the right support, and believing that it's possible for you. Remembering just how amazing you are. Looking at yourself through those eyes of unconditional love and support, and kind of taking that energy and being like, this is what I'm now going to create from that place. So I think that actually is a very beautiful message, and I think someone really needed to hear that today. I certainly resonate with it, and I hope it's been helpful for you. So I'm going to close out the reading, and I shall see you all on the next one. Thank you for watching.